It's Mrs. Spivey, and right now it's 2:45 Tuesday afternoon. Classes are already over, and I am in my classroom to prepare tomorrow's class. Today is such a fun day. It's so interesting. In Chinese 2 classes, we studied Feng Shui, and we also studied core vocabularies of Lesson 15. The reason we study Feng Shui in Lesson 15 is because the subject relates to something to our house. And since it's Chinese class, Chinese housing, we will have to talk about Feng Shui. It's Chinese culture, and this culture is very, very old. It's like 3,000 to 4,000 years history. So, students raised so many interesting questions, and here I'm going to read one of the questions, see if I can answer your questions. Maybe you have the same questions here. The students say, does the location of your room mean anything for Feng Shui? Yes. The room of your location in your house has a certain energy in it. So you will need to find a good location. Everything is about the location. If it's a good place for you to stay, and that will bring positive energy, it will make you happy, healthy. So your room means something in Feng Shui. It means the energy created in the environment there. Another one. The student asked, it is bad if your bed is not made. This is a very interesting question. Yes and yes, kind of. Say, if your house is kind of messy, if your bed is kind of always not made, number one, the room doesn't look very nice, and it's not organized. So when you go into your room, you probably not feel like, clean, clear, thinking, or maybe you don't want to think clearly. You just want to throw yourself into the bed. But that's okay. I just want to mention 2 kind of living environment. One is in the military, another is in our dormitory, in our house. The 2 kind of environment create 2 kind of energy. In military, you always have to fold your bed, your cover like squares, and you look at those soldiers. They move fast, they do things quickly, and they are ready to go. And if you go to your house is kind of messy, so you do things very slowly. One day it's okay. For long term, it's going to change your personality. So yes, if you have time, you do make up your bed. Another question from a student. She said, are there any numbers that one considered a bad in Feng Shui? Yes, in China, it has something to do with the pronunciation of the number. Like number 4, and it has a same pronunciation of staff. So people doesn't like to use 4 for their number, like their phone number, their house number, and it can bring them negative feelings about certain kind of things. However, there's some opposite numbers brings you positive energy. For example, number 8. Chinese people love 8, love 6. 8 means far, prosperity, and more, and a lot of things. And also the shape is like, infinity, if you're flipped it horizontally. That's a question. Another question, is there a certain way a house should face? Yes, in China, because of the geography, so most people in China, they buy house, they have to have a certain directions. Most of the direction is your house face, your gate, your window face to south. and the back of the house is supposed to be facing the north. It's related to the environment of China. But when you talk about America, Europe, or different places, you probably have different geographic conditions, so you should give another thought. The student said, should your room be clean and organized to function in life? The answer is yes. Clean room, better environment, and it's healthy. It make you happier. That's yes answer for sure. Next question. If you are wealthy, then will you have more Feng Shui? That means you have a good Feng Shui. So what you need to do is you need to pay attention to your Feng Shui. So you make sure your Feng Shui guard your wealth. And if you have no good Feng Shui, your wealth will be drained. Well, you may lose your wealth. So Feng Shui, it's really everywhere. No matter you're poor, you're rich, as long as you have a position, you have a location on the planet, things around you influence you. And you yourself, inside of your body, you have things influencing you too. So pay attention to Feng Shui. Next one is, let me see this question. Should you be active for good Feng Shui? Yes, you should be active for good Feng Shui, because a lot of the time people, I don't know what you really mean, but I'm thinking about sometimes people are just sitting there. Most of the time we live inside ourselves, and you're thinking, you have some kind of a thought. If you have a happy thoughts, you have good thoughts, then you're fine, you're good. However, if you are depressed, if you're unhappy, if there's something really bothers you and you're not active, you sit there, you lay there, and that Feng Shui is really bad. So if you move around, you're active, you're changing, you bring the motion into your environment around you. So that will change your Feng Shui. The key point is, if your Feng Shui is no good, you're bigger than Feng Shui, you need to change it. There are lots of questions. It's so interesting. I would like to share with you. So today you are going to ask some questions. And when you ask your question, I would like you to do something like this. You have your question written down, and you're going to tell me your name by saying 我的名字 or 我叫我是王爱文. My question is, in Chinese, you say 我的问题是. Okay? So, for example, I have the student. She has a question. So, if she, say, pretend I'm that student, and her name is Li Aihua. So, she's going to say, 你好，我的名字是李爱华。我的问题是 What does Feng Shui affect? Okay, or affect? 那么 then you will wait for me to give your answer. So for Li Aihua, your answer is Feng Shui influence everything in your life. Have some good Feng Shui. You ready? Let's play.